What if I told you that your real spiritual growth is not happening in meditation, not in rituals, not in your calm moments, but in the exact moments when you lose your calm? So today we are going to look at 6 qualities from Upanishads, not as heavy concepts, but the tools that we can actually use in our daily lives to keep our mind steady and clear. And instead of using complicated words, we will keep it very simple through everyday examples, because at Tvame, we believe that spirituality must show up in our daily life, in our daily behavior, and in our daily responses. So let us meet the hero of our story today, Rohan. So Rohan wakes up late. He wanted to start his day with yoga and breath work, but now he's already frustrated because his schedule is completely messed up because he got up late. And as soon as he steps out of the room, he sees his daughter is still sleeping. That flares him. He snaps at her. She snaps back. And before 8 a.m., the house is tense. On the way to work, he's stuck in traffic. Someone cuts him off, almost hitting his car, and he loses his cool and gets into a fight. He reaches office. Surprisingly and fortunately, the day starts well. He clears few emails, finishes couple of tasks. By afternoon, he needs a part of work to be done by a colleague who is a designer. And the colleague tells Rohan, I have other things to do. I can't prioritize your work right now, you have to wait. That one sentence throws him off balance. His mind goes berserk that everything will get delayed because of him. My manager will think I'm slow. He ignores me. He doesn't respect my work. And by evening, he wanted to go for a walk because he didn't exercise in the morning. But he's mentally exhausted. He reaches home, lies down irritated and disconnected. If you see, nothing major happened today. No crisis, no disaster, just a normal life. And yet, Rohan feels completely drained. Does it also happen to you that you also sometimes feel exhausted at the end of a very normal day? So what's happening? What's really happening? Is the day actually bad, or did Rohan simply went through the entire day with very low mental immunity? That's something that we need to reflect. And here is a good news. You only need 6 inner shifts, which Upanishads call Shatka Sampattihi, to make your mind steady, sharp, and resilient irrespective of how your day is. Sounds like a big promise, isn't it? I know. You must be thinking, is it just a mere theory, or does it really make sense in our day-to-day life? So let's see. And what I can promise you, that you will be surprised to see that you are already practicing many of these qualities without even realizing it. We will see as we go along. So let's replay Rohan's day again, but with these 6 inner shifts. How these inner shifts actually happen, we will discuss it later as we go along. So people remains the same, situations are the same challenges, nothing outside changes, but Rohan changes from within. So the first shift is called Sama, the art of reducing mental noise. So let me give you a very simple example. Has it ever happened to you that you have told your house help to come early tomorrow because there are certain guests coming, but she doesn't show up and she's not taking your calls? And even before you start doing your own work, start cleaning and cooking, your mind has already written a full story that she's so self-centered. She doesn't care how much we do for her. My entire day is ruined. I don't know how I will manage. But pause. Are these thoughts actual facts? Or they are mental noise which is adding to the situation, which is draining you even before you start the work? Then how do you reduce this mental noise? And your ability to do so or the shift is called sama. And here is how Rohan practices sama when he wakes up late. So earlier he would have told himself, I'm so lazy, I can't exercise even today, I can't do anything well in my life. But now he pauses and reframes and says, okay, I got late. If not 30 minutes of yoga, at least I can do 10 minutes of pranayama. See, the situation is the same, but the inner noise suddenly drops. And this is called reframing, the ability to see things from a different angle, which instantly reduces the mental noise. You can call it acceptance, you can call it activating your buddhi, whatever word that works for you. So sama is when the help doesn't show up. Instead of spiraling your thoughts and draining yourself, the mind quietly shifts to something more useful. It says, maybe I'm expecting a level of promptness from this person who can't give me that. Or maybe something is happening at her end that I don't know. Either ways, I'm going to deal with it later. Let me see what can I do right now. So Upanishads describes sama beautifully. It says mano nigraha sama, mastery over mental agitation. So you see, sama doesn't remove thoughts. It removes unnecessary thoughts. It helps you to see things as they are, not as the way mind narrates them. Now let's move to the second shift, Dhamma, mastery over senses. Our senses are outwardly going by design. One ping of a phone, one reel, and suddenly 30 minutes are gone. Let me ask you something. How many times have you decided to wake up early, and before you realize it, your hand has already hit the snooze button? This is how the senses are pulling you against what you have decided. And this is exactly what changes for Rohan. Here, he's helping his daughter to get ready quickly because she woke up late. The phone buzzes again. Earlier, he would have immediately looked at the messages, and if it was work related, it would have stressed him even further. But today, he simply tells himself, let me finish helping my daughter first. It's not a big thing, but think about it. He chooses the moment over the impulse, and that little shift is Dhamma. So Dhamma doesn't mean suppressing the pleasure. It means preventing energy leakage. So how do we stop being dragged by our senses? That's the question that we all must be thinking. But before that, let's understand a subtle truth. That when a mind becomes convinced that what you gain is far than what you are giving up, discipline becomes natural. No willpower is required. Think about it. You want to wake up early for yoga and pranayama, but you find it difficult. Now imagine that your closest childhood friend, someone you have been longing to meet, is landing up at your door at 5 a.m. Will you still struggle to wake up early? Not at all. Why? Because the joy of meeting your friend is far greater than the comfort of sleeping. Your mind moves effortlessly towards what it values more. And that leads to an important insight. It's never about the activity itself. It's about the value the mind attaches to it. We often say, I need more willpower, but most of the time, mind simply hasn't experienced the after effects of the action. And so it resists. Take exercise. We all know that we should exercise. But the tendency, the habit, is to choose comfort not because comfort is superior, but because it is familiar. And to break it, mind must feel the benefits of the new action. The body must experience that lightness, that clarity, that energy post-exercise at least few times. Once that happens over some time, you will see that will stop struggling with discipline. The mind is convinced and the senses will start listening to what mind says. So Dhamma is a quiet shift from senses dragging the mind to the mind guiding the senses. Now, let's move to the third shift and think about it logically. If you are reducing unnecessary mental chatter through Sama, you are preventing energy leakage and channelizing your senses through Dhamma. What should be your next natural step? What do you say? It should be to avoid situation that pulls your mind back into the old patterns, isn't it? And that is Uparama, the ability to gently withdraw the mind from what drains it. So let me ask you this. Have you ever argued with someone for 5 minutes, but your mind continues the argument for 5 hours or even for 5 days? And you wish the interaction never happened, but the mind keeps replaying it all the time. Now let's see how Uparama shows in Rohan's day. He's stuck in traffic. A driver cuts dangerously close to his car. They exchange a glare. So instead of saying sorry, the other man starts abusing him. Rohan feels the heat rising. His hand goes to the window to react, but suddenly something inside says, "This is not going anywhere. This is not worth your time. Just stop." That small voice, that tiny pause, that inner step back, that is Uparama. And let us not confuse this with escapism. Uparama is wise disengagement. Now you may say, it is important to teach that person a lesson so that he doesn't repeat it again. It's important to give it back to him. But pause and check honestly. Are you truly motivated to improve the traffic system? Or you are simply angry using that justification to jump into an argument with that person? The scriptures uses a beautiful metaphor. It says that a turtle withdraws its limbs not out of fear, but to preserve its energy. In the same way, Uparama is choosing consciously who deserves your mental space. And how do we develop Uparama? Through alertness, by being aware of your thought before you get lost in them. So now, when you have cleaned your mental room through Sama and Dhamma, Uparama is the one which is preventing the new dust from entering the room of your mind. Now we have seen 3 steps. Now tell me, what do you think logically will be the 4th shift? You can avoid unnecessarily battles through Uparama, correct? But what if the life forces you into the situations that you cannot simply escape? The unavoidable challenges in health, job loss, relationship issues, or any phase in life that comes after you. That brings us to the 4th virtue, titiksha, the strength to work through the discomfort without breaking from inside. Let me start with something fascinating. Right now, as you watch this, your blood contains trillions of microbes and bacteria. And any one of them can actually make you ill, yet most of the time they don't. Why? Because your body has a natural immunity, the ability to stay balanced even when the conditions aren't perfect. That is why 2 people can be in the same environment, one falls sick and another stays healthy. So just as we have physical immunity, we also have mental immunity, the ability to endure blame, discomfort, uncertainty, and failure without losing the inner balance. And here is how it showed up for Rohan. He walks to his colleague and says, "Hey, I need this part for my project. This report is due today." And the colleague snaps back at him and says, "I have more important things to do, yours have to wait." Earlier, this moment would have shattered Rohan's day. He's careless, he doesn't like me. But this time, even though he feels this sting, he doesn't collapse inside. He takes few slow breaths, allows the initial heat to settle, and then he calls back his colleague calmly and says, "Look, even a rough draft will do. Can you send me something or something that I can do to help this? This is critical for me." He negotiates and gets a small usable portion and starts working on it, and quietly prepares a plan B for his manager. This action is titiksha. Not suppressing the emotion, not pretending nothing happened or I am absolutely fine, but staying in the game. And this is important. Just like immunity doesn't stop the germs from entering, it simply prevents them from overpowering you. Titiksha doesn't stop the problems from entering in your life. However, titiksha prevents them from breaking your inner world. So the next question is, how do we develop titiksha? If you reflect on it, titiksha naturally grows when you have a certain amount of shraddha. See how beautifully it flows when we start truly understand this step by step. So next shift is shraddha, one of the most misunderstood qualities. Shraddha does not mean a blind belief. It means intelligent trust, a trust that comes from your own direct experiences. So let's try and understand this in a very simplistic manner. Imagine someone teaches you a simple breathing exercise to calm your mind. You try it for 5 days, and on 6th day, you notice that you reacted a little less. Your mind felt calmer, your digestion improved. I mean, this is something that actually happened with my friend, so I'm mentioning about it. So nobody now needs to convince you. Your own experience has done the convincing. That inner shift, that quiet, I can see the value now, that is shraddha. And notice something important. It all began with an intelligent trust. You trusted the pranayama teacher that she knows her job. You checked her background, you asked for references, and then showed up with an open mind. And once you experienced the change yourself, shraddha arose automatically. And now see how this worked for Rohan later that evening. After handling the situation with his colleague, he told himself, "There has been so many times I have delivered on time. My senior knows my work. One delay won't change everything, and I can explain the situation clearly without blame, without fear." That simple act of looking at his own past experience gave him trust, and that trust made his mind steady. Do you see this? And Upanishads define shraddha as a firm conviction that the teaching is true because your own experience confirms it. And now you may ask, how do I develop conviction in the scriptures, or how do I feel assured that there is an intelligent order of Ishvara and I'm safe within it? I mean, that's how you should be asking. And there are two powerful ways to build shraddha. The first, gratitude. See, the mind automatically goes into things, what is wrong or what is missing. But once you start seeing what is still right, it gives you tremendous amount of emotional strength and it builds shraddha. Second, look at your life honestly and see that every setback and every challenge that you have successfully handled, didn't that make you stronger, wiser, and more grounded? I mean, what do you say about it? Yes, there are issues and problems which you are still facing right now. But this simultaneous recognition that how far you have already come creates trust in life intelligence. And this builds shraddha. And shraddha becomes a source of strength, which is titiksha. I have just mentioned a couple of practices. There are many. The important thing here is that once you develop shraddha, You stay patiently with the process, enduring all kind of challenges long enough to see the shoots of transformation. Why long enough? Because it's very simple. Anything that comes quickly will also go quickly. So do you see that how Shraddha and Titiksha is correlated? And now come to the final shift, which is Samadhan. And let us see what it really means in Rohan's life. On the way back home, Rohan sits quietly in the car, replaying the entire day. It was honestly a chaotic day. He woke up late. He almost got into an argument while stuck in traffic. A colleague snapped at him. Deadlines were shifted. And yet, he noticed something unusual, that he is not drained. He is not carrying his old heaviness. There is some kind of a quiet calm inside. For the first time, he sees something very clearly, that if I take care of my inner space, the life outside becomes easier to handle. And this time, it is just not an idea, it is his experience. He realizes in a very quiet way that life is less to do about what is happening out there, and it's more about what's happening in here. This inner shift, this recognition is the real beginning of the inner journey, and Rohan even doesn't know that he's already initiated on the path of spirituality. That quiet recognition, that shift in understanding, which leads to immense clarity, that clarity is samadhana. When sama gives you calmness by removing unnecessary chatter, dhamma gives you discipline by channelizing your senses, uprama gives you distance from what drains you, titiksha gives you endurance to stay in the game, and shraddha gives you trust to hold on, the mind finally stops scattering elsewhere. It becomes steady to settle into one movement, and that inner alignment is samadhana. The Upanishads describe samadhana as chit ekagrata samadhanam, a mind settled in one clear direction. You know that feeling when something inside says that this is my path, this is where I belong, this is what I'm meant to do. That point where the mind is no longer forced into concentration, where it is effortlessly aligned, that is samadhana. And a mind that aligns this naturally, the Upanishads say that mind is finally ready for true self-knowledge. Here Tattva Bodha calls these 6 virtues Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, the 6 inner strengths. I hope you can now relate to these 6 virtues or 6 inner strengths or Samadhi Shatka Sampatti in a very simple, grounded way. And the truth is that each one of you have them. Maybe it's the time to become more aware of them and gently amplify them or grow them further. But before we close, I wish to say something very important. See, these 6 qualities are not demands or checklists. They are not meant to make you feel that I don't have it and therefore I am not good enough or spiritual enough. They are like learning a guitar. Day 1, the fingers will hurt, the rhythm is off, the sound is messy. But when you continue, slowly and effortlessly, your fingers will toughen, your rhythm will stabilize, the music begins to flow. So don't try for perfection, just move in the right direction. These are your inner wealth that grows into emotional stability, clarity, and freedom. And let me tell you, no amount of money, no amount of fame, relationship, or any worldly stuff can offer you this. And in our next Tvame's episode, we will be exploring one fundamental force that drives us towards these 6 virtues that we just spoke about. And if you'd like to go deeper, join our live Tvame workshop, where we just don't study these ideas, we practice them step by step and make lasting impact on ourselves. The link is in the description. Fill in your details there. And yes, please like, subscribe and share with whomever can benefit from simple and clear understanding of our ancient wisdom. May there always be grace in your seeking. Namaste.